Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Amanullah. You're watching my YouTube channel, Dr. Aman's video. Dear viewer, today we will discuss the mechanism of autoimmune diseases or autoimmune disorder. Autoimmune diseases are caused due to the attack of immune system on self-antigen, which can damage the tissue or organ of the body and can result in a disease or disorder, and that disease or disorder is known as autoimmune disease or autoimmune disorder. Now, what does it really mean to us? As we know that normally every body contain a system which is known as immune system, and this immune system is a defense mechanism which actually provide protection to the body of the host against foreign invader like bacteria, viruses or any other antigen. So normally immune system try to eliminate or kill the foreign invader in order to prevent us from the damage caused by that foreign invader. But we know that there are antigen present inside the body, but our immune system do not react or do not attack on those antigen because our immune system recognize all those antigens as self antigen. And this phenomena is known as immunological tolerance or immune tolerance. It means that our immune system tolerate all self antigen, or you can say that our immune system recognize our own antigen as self antigen and they do not attack on self antigen. But there are certain conditions. In those conditions we lost immunological tolerance or we lost tolerance. In those conditions our immune system attack on the self antigen on the body, which can result damage of the tissue or organ and can cause a disease or a disorder. And this attack could be cell mediated or antibody mediated, and those antibody or those cells which attack on the self antigen of the body are known as autoantibody or autoreactive cell. So these autoantibody or autoreactive cells damage the tissue and organ of the body and result in a disease which is known as autoimmune disease or autoimmune disorder. Autoimmune disease or autoimmune disorder is primarily a multifactorial condition. Multifactor coalesce and their combined effect can cause or their combined effect can result in the loss of immunological tolerance. For example, certain genetics background, like some individual carry particular gene and the presence of those genes make them susceptible or make them at high or put them at higher risk to acquire some autoimmune disorder. Like for example, there is a gene known as HLA, human leukocyte antigen DR4 gene. So those individuals who carry this gene, they are more susceptible to the attack of rheumatoid arthritis. So therefore, the presence of certain gene or the genetic background is one of the more important factor for autoimmune disorder. Secondly is the status of hormone or hormonal condition. Hormonal condition also impact on the pathology of immune disorder. For example, the level of estrogen play an important role or put certain individual vulnerable to the attack of a particular immune disorder. For example, the presence of estrogen make women more vulnerable to the attack of systemic lupus erythematosus. Besides these two factors, there is a list of other environmental conditions which can cause or which can predispose a person to the attack of autoimmune diseases or autoimmune disorder. But Still, there is a proposed mechanism for autoimmune diseases. We will discuss that proposed mechanism, that what is the basic mechanism for losing immunological tolerance or for making our immune system against our own antigen. First of all is the molecular mimicry. What do we mean by molecular mimicry? This is very simple. There are certain viruses or bacteria which carry antigen, and those antigens are very similar to the antigen present inside our body. Therefore, when our immune system expose, or when those bacteria or viruses who carry similar antigen like our body antigen, so when they expose to our immune system produced antibodies against those antigen. So those antibody cross react with the similar antigen present inside the body and result into the damage of the tissue or organ and result in a disease which is known as autoimmune disease. For instance, I would like to explain with one example. Like, there are some Streptococcus pyogen which carry M protein, and some of the Streptococcus pyogen carry M protein which are very similar to the myosin antigen present in the cardiovascular muscles. So, whenever these Streptococcus pyogen who carry M protein similar to myosin antigen cause tonsillitis in a person, so in that case our immune system produced antibodies against this M protein, because this M protein is immunogenic in nature. It can provoke an immune response. So those antibody also attack on the myosin antigen present in the cardiovascular muscles, which can result in an autoimmune disease known as rheumatic fever. So this is one mechanism underlining the autoimmune disease known as molecular mimicry. Now, there is another mechanism which is known as alteration of normal protein. In this mechanism of alteration of normal protein, there are certain drugs or chemicals which alter or normal protein present inside the body. After alteration, that protein become immunogenic and it elicits an immune response against itself. So this can lead to the damage of tissues or organ of that particular place from where this protein belongs to. Like, for example, procanamide is a drug which can alter some protein inside the body, and those altered protein can result in an autoimmune disease known as systemic lupus erythematosus. So this is the second mechanism through which we can get autoimmune diseases. There is another mechanism which is known as release of sequester antigen. Release of sequester antigen means that there are certain antigen inside the body which are separated from the normal immune system, or you can say that those antigens are not in contact with the immune system of the body. So therefore they are sequestered from the normal immune system. For example, sperms which are not in contact with normal immune system, so these are sequestered antigen. Or there are some proteins which are segregated or separated by blood-brain barrier, so these proteins are the protein of central nervous system. They are also sequestered antigen. But under some condition, when there is trauma to these areas or these anatomical sites, this trauma can result the release of these sequester antigen. When these sequester antigen released in the general circulation, so immune system recognize them as a non-self antigen, and they attack on that non-self antigen in the form of antibody or in the form of cell. So this release of sequester antigen can also result in immunological mediated pathology, which is known as autoimmune disease or autoimmune disorder. So these are the three common mechanisms of autoimmune disorder. Autoimmune disease or autoimmune disorder primarily can affect one organ or the whole system of the body. In the upcoming video lecture, I will discuss some important autoimmune diseases and their laboratory diagnosis or their laboratory investigations. I hope you would find this video beneficial for yourself. If you like this video, then I would request for the subscription of my YouTube channel, Dr. Aman's Video. Please try to hit bell icon in order to get notification for my upcoming video. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. Fi Amanillah.